Oh, yeah. Gold on my wrist, diamonds on my tooth. Took your girl out, now she know the damn truth. Damn, said she had a man, but she left that at home. Now she call me Big Daddy Velvet Cologne. I don't chase stocks, I let them chase me. Like your main thing slid into my seat. Checking her phone, see the name in her text. Velvet Kohrs, better show some respect. Velvet Kohrs, draped in silk, got 'em begging for more. Velvet Kohrs, wallet so thick, need a second floor. Velvet Kohrs, turn $5 into 40 or more. Velvet Kohrs, and your lady just text me, open the door. She told you she working late shifts at the job, but she dancing on me while you cry like a sob. Damn, said she'd be home by 9:45. Now it's 6 a.m. and she calling me again. I trade stocks like I steal your boo. Flip one play, now my bankroll grew. She love how I move, how I talk so smooth. Now she in my jacuzzi sipping top shelf booze. Velvet Kohrs, if I pull up, she gon' float to my door. Velvet Kohrs, stock gains high, but my charm even more. Velvet Kohrs, never met a hater that I couldn't ignore. Velvet Kohrs, you just mad cause your girl ain't yours. Ooh, y'all jealous now. Velvet cool, ooh, you checking my style. Velvet cool, velvet Kohrs, dripping in gold, yeah, my style too pure. Velvet Kohrs, charts go up when I walk through the door. Velvet Kohrs, turn a dime into diamonds, I'm rich to the core. Velvet Kohrs, y'all just watching while I make even more.
Good morning, and happy daylight savings day or whatever. All I know is that we got a less sleep, but it is a Monday, so at least we are back together and we're killing it. I just kind of want to say I told you so. I don't necessarily know how today's going to go, but I saw you guys chirping me on Friday when the market looked a little green. Everyone's like, Matt's crazy for having puts. Matt's crazy for not buying this dip. Matt's a loco person. But nope. Once again, a lady luck strikes, because in pre-market trading right now, things are blood red. And not only are they horrifically red, we have volatility taking out some recent highs. The VIX is up. The stability in the market, I think, is at 4% right now. And I want to get into some stats, facts, and figures that I think are going to be useful for everyone's active trading today. Man, I hope you guys got a restful, relaxing weekend in, just because this upcoming week, it's going to be a wild one. Honestly, that's been the going theme in all reality. It's just with vol at these high levels, and there's nothing going on in the options market to suggest that vol is going to get taken out of the system. The first time that might happen is not this Friday, but next Friday with the March OPEX. There's some interesting expirations there where the vol might come down, and if vol comes down, maybe we have a shot at a rally, but there's so much other news going on right now of what in the world is happening with tariffs. Specifically, we got more recent movement with Canada, China, and Mexico. So I'll be going over that. Of course, we'll talk about seasonality. I'll let you know all the major macroeconomic events. But I think the most useful is going to be really the key option levels and how I see this playing out. And there's two very, very evident levels to watch today. One is very clearly bullish. If we could get above it, hold above it, yes, we might have some, actually a large intraday movement. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the dip, but just due to how the options market is setting up, we are in a very, very negative situation, negative gamma situation. So if we start to pump, we could really pump. But also when you're in a negative gamma situation, the same is also true to the south side. If you start to sell off, it could get a lot more extreme. We are in an environment where whatever the move and the momentum is, it could just get quite a bit more. As I'm going to explain to you, not only due to like just the price trend, the news, but also the option structure, my bias going into today is bullish. I think it's really, really, you're playing with fire to be a bull in the short term. But obviously, hey, if you have a profitable trading strategy and you're respecting your risk, have at it. But for me, I do find that it's far, far easier to just be trading with the overall trend. That's where I get a lot more quote unquote lucky. So we have a lot to get into. I appreciate you guys stopping by so early. A crack of dawn, we're up before the farmers. We're making hay as the sun is shining. So thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, I would truly appreciate it if you could hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. All that engagement really does help get this show in front of other people who might be interested. Basically day in and day out, just growing the Goonie community. Obviously, I don't ask you guys for anything. Whatever you do, I do truly appreciate it, but I would kindly ask of you, say hi to your neighbor in chat, smash that like, don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, let's get rocking. Dow futures dropped 300 points as selling continues on Wall Street. So right now the snapshot is, we around 12:15 started to pump on Friday. And with that, I mean, half of us in here, we're all fighting with each other. You guys called me a crazy person for saying, dude, why are you not going long? We had people like, you gotta just rip calls. Folks, the reason you know to not rip calls at that point is because we are nowhere close to a foundational supportive market. If you look at what's going on right here, I mean, this is just one metric. Price stability is at 4%. There's not much more extreme it can go. I mean, we know we're just in a whippy environment. We know the overall trend is down. And more importantly, we know examining the option chain that there was really the chance of this being sustained and actually having a foundation was a snowball's chance in hell. And that's exactly why we're seeing this. So I know we all have recency bias and we all like to anchor, and we all saw that on Friday of like, oh, a little bit of green, and like the dumb little monkeys that we are, monkey see, monkey do, we're like, oh, it must be green, so I guess it's going to continue. You held your push? Of course I held my push because I have a basic understanding of reading the option chain. I'll show you guys my positions as soon as the market opens. I'm waiting for them to update, so we have about like 20 minutes. But yeah, I have market puts and I also have MSTR puts. I mean, MSTR from a technical perspective was showing weakness, and then I just got even more lucky because Michael Saylor announced an at the money or at the market offering. So obviously a little bit of dilution going on with MSTR. So we'll be covering that. I was looking for it to snap 272 as that big support. So if we can actually really push below that today and close below that today, I think there could be a capitulation down to sub 250. So I'll be going over all that, but obviously there's a lot of important things to get into today. So let's take a step back and talk about what's going on the global stage. Canada, new leader, Mark Carney wins Canada Liberal contest, will succeed Trudeau in days. So he was selected, he was picked, he's in there, he's representing the red land to the north. He had a speech. It was, I don't know, kind of strange, kind of interesting. Basically, he, with respect to the US and the tariffs, he's like, we didn't pick this fight, but Canadians, they don't back down from a fight. And I just find it interesting. Obviously, Canada is a very, very close ally of the U.S., but to act like it's a fair fight, it would be not even me playing against LeBron James in basketball. It would be like toddler me playing against LeBron James in basketball. Those are like, in this concept of a fight between the U.S. and Canada, it's not only a mismatch in weight class, it's a mismatch in weight class, and one guy is training for his entire life and is at the peak at 35, while the other guy's a toddler that is only 20 pounds. Like to act like it's somehow like, oh, we don't back down from a fight. It's not a fair fight, dude. It's a very, like, the most influential, strongest country in the world versus a country that is just functionally way, way smaller. It has way less resources. So the speech was interesting, but Trudeau is finally done, which I think a lot of people were saying we are surprised this did not happen earlier because seemingly no one liked him. U.S. to press Ukraine for ceasefire commitments at Saudi meetings. So, I mean, reading the writing on the wall, the ball's rolling. I don't think it's going to take that long at all. We're talking weeks, maybe a couple months, but I think the whole Ukraine-Russia thing, it's done. It is. Like, I get that it's going on right now, but the momentum and the direction that this is all happening, it's kind of at the point where we're just waiting for, like, the deals to kind of get signed, for the teams to agree upon it. But anyone reading the tea leaves here, the direction is very obvious. It's going to be done, and that's going to really kind of shift the political landscape. It's really going to have an impact on the political theater. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. I'm curious how things are really going to keep going with China and Taiwan, especially that the major thing Taiwan had is the semiconductors, but now that they're opening the bigger plant here in the U.S., where's that going to go? I mean, I think in the next year or two, that could get really interesting of what pressures are or are not going to be put on Taiwan directly from China. So that's another thing that, like, obviously not in the short term. It's not like you have to worry about this tonight, but definitely something that's just developing. We have a big pivot, a big shift, so worthwhile to pay attention to that as well. Bringing it back to the U.S., House Republicans unveil bill to avoid shutdown, and they're daring Democrats to oppose it. So I'm hoping that this narrative doesn't continue in terms of, okay, are we going to have another shutdown? It might. I wanted to bring it up right now just so no one's surprised if in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, if it like gets worse. I'm hoping that they just come to some sort of agreement, especially right now with the GOP in control. Should be, hopefully, fingers crossed. I guess I'm preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. So I just wanted to bring that up, that there might be a little bit more craziness. So that's like the larger political news outside of the U.S. And also here in the U.S., of course, we're still going to, like, I have a whole section for you guys just on the tariffs and the current state of the trade war. But to kind of understand what happened on Friday going into today, let's rewind a little bit. So on Friday, it was very, very weak. We got pretty close to support 56.70 on SPX. We knew there was a big level at 56.50. I was calling that out myself quite a bit. Obviously, we found support at 56.70, and then we got a little bit of like a mini negative gamma, just a little bit of a gamma squeeze. Basically, when there's so much negative gamma and all these out of the money puts go to in the money, the market makers, the people who wrote the premium, taking the other side of those long puts, they're the put writers, they have to hedge themselves by most likely going short in the futures market. Well, when they go from out of the money to in the money, they're creating the short position, and they'll be buying, or they'll be shorting ES contracts and NQ contracts. Well, vice versa, when it starts to pop up, they're allowed to unwind that. They have to unwind it to keep their book neutral. And in such a heavy negative gamma environment, that's a lot to unload. And when they unload it, it just keeps pushing it. And obviously, you get a little bit of a positive feedback loop. This phenomena can also happen in the negative direction. And it's more so descriptive of just how high vol is right now. So it's not necessarily bullish or bearish. It's just saying prepare for big ranges. And that's kind of how we went on Friday. We found support. Basically, the put buyers like started to blink and some 0DT calls came in. But remember, those 0DT calls are exactly that, 0DT, as in all that gamma, all that positive gamma. Well, it could have been negative gamma. Really, all that positive delta was taken off the table when Friday closed. And now we're just returning to reality. Also, people were somewhat excited to see what was going to be happening in the world of crypto. There was a big crypto summit starting late day on Friday around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and it ended up being an absolute nothing burger. Bitcoin falls as much as 6.5% as volatility continues after Trump's Bitcoin reserve plan. So there was this strategic Bitcoin reserve that was being touted as like the next best thing. And then we had all the greatest business minds of crypto meeting up with the administration and the cabinet and Trump himself, and just nothing really came from it. So it ended up being one of these classic buy the rumor, sell the news type scenarios because nothing came from it. So that was on Friday. Over the weekend, we got a little bit of development on the tariff trade war stuff. China to impose retaliatory tariffs on some Canadian products as trade war heats up. China on Saturday announced its plan to impose a 100% 2% tariff on Canadian, and basically it's all in the agricultural world. The measures are scheduled to come into the force on March 20th. In the latest, a series of tariff announcements by the U.S., China, Canada, Mexico. I thought this one was interesting. Once again, this came the next day. So we had all the crypto stuff late Friday. Then on Saturday, we had a China-Canada move. This is the first one in recent history where the big news has just been like the U.S. doling out tariffs. This is the first one of tariffs getting jacked up on countries that are not including us. So I thought that was a bit interesting. And then I kind of dove a little bit more into like what's been happening in China recently. And it's more wild than I could expect. China struggles with supply glut, threatens to extend deflation. China's consumer inflation turns negative for the first time in 13 months. China's National Consumer Price Index, their equivalent of the CPI, in February fell into a negative territory for the first time since January of last year. It comes as investors continue to look for signs that Beijing's stimulus measures can help to boost the country's struggling economic recovery, and it is struggling. Economists say China's growth target of around 5% this year may be challenging to achieve, particularly amid an escalating trade dispute with the U.S. president and his administration. It's not going to be difficult to hit. It's going to be impossible to hit if all these tariffs come through. So China, for one reason or another, and it's a very long story, they're kind of on the ropes themselves. They basically, no one wants a trade war right now. Everyone's kind of, I don't know, we're enough time has passed since the whole Rona period that we're really starting to see some of the concerning signs of when you print so much money and you have high inflation for so long. It's not just getting slight foundational cracks. If you look at the underlying quote unquote health of the economy right now, there are serious signs. And we could talk about this in more detail, but I do believe, and I know a lot of the times on this show, we're talking more of like, where do we see things going today, this week, this month, maybe up to the quarter. I want this to be stated out loud. And feel free to clip this. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. I feel very strongly from the global economic direction that sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, we see a 30, potentially 40% pullback in the market. In the short term, I obviously believe that there's still going to be bearishness till the end of March, maybe the start of April, especially if you watch the update video. I think April we pop, and I think overall this year's super choppy, super volatile, and I think maybe we're going to end slightly green. It might be like a muted nothing year, but I think by the time we're really talking 2026, maybe Q4 of this year, early next year, I think we're going to start to be playing on a very different side. So in terms of people, like I know we sometimes talk about long-term investing and all of that. I want to make this very explicitly clear. I want to go on, I guess, record saying this. I believe in the next 12 to 18 months, we have a 30, potentially 40% sell-off in the entire market. I don't think that is starting now. I think there's time that needs, I think there's things that have to really push themselves through the system. So I don't think that this is the start of that particular sell-off, just to explain. But in terms of your overall account, what I'm personally doing is just loading up on cash and waiting for whatever that pandemonium is to really play out. Anyway, Trump downplays business concerns about the uncertainty from his tariffs and the prospect of higher prices. It's particularly this that is concerning the markets right now. To be more detailed, Trump says U.S. economy faces transition, avoids recession call. This is a very fancy schmancy way of saying, yeah, we know pain is coming. Trump declines to rule out a recession. President sees period of transition as he tries to reshape U.S. economy. Once again, this is very fancy political talk. For everyone who's paying attention, we know a recession's coming. If you think there is a chance that we are not going to go into a recession, you gotta wake up. I think there's a lot of people who are in one way or another probably right of saying we're already in a recession. But in terms of like the government admitting it, we're going into one. Like I don't know what to tell people. It's what is going to happen. We're going into a recession. The question is when and how extreme. I don't see a world in which we can actually avoid a recession. The only way I think we avoid a recession is if, once again, we play loosey-goosey with what the definition of a recession is. If we keep the definition consistent and constant, the way we kind of have it in the last administration, they were changing the definition of it. But if we keep an actual rigid definition of recession, I very confidently feel we're going to be going into one, especially if this tariff war, like even without it, I thought we were going into the one, but I think with this stuff, it's cementing it in my mind. Trump says tariffs on Mexico and Canada could go up, declines to rule out possible recession. So this is news coming out yesterday. Once again, clearly right now the market's not so happy about it. Already talking about jacking up higher. And remember, at the start of April, on April 1st, April 2nd, there's going to be reciprocal tariffs, which are going to be additive. They're going to be cumulative based on these current ones going on. So the tariff situation could very, very much just get extremely worse from here. Obviously, I hope they don't. I'm hoping that all sides come to some sort of agreement. I assume other world leaders are basically going to just end up giving Trump exactly what he wants. It's a very transactional thing of basically, hey, don't tariff us and we're not going to tariff you. And I think people are going to start to see the pressure in their own individual economies and markets, and all of their constituents are going to start to get pissed. And it's happening here too. Things are not trending well here. But remember, the U.S. is coming into this fight as the biggest fighter. So we have, I guess, more cushion. And this is painful for all. I'm not saying that like there's winners and losers here. There's losers across the board. The real question is who's going to lose the least and who's going to lose the most. Other places proportionately, percentage-wise, have more to lose. So I think before you know it, they're just going to end up agreeing to what Trump wants. But the longer this plays out, there's going to be a lot more pain involved. But to be clear, I know we're talking about different time frames. Like I said, 2026, I think, is going to be absurdly painful. This year, I think it's going to be slightly green with a lot of volatility. In the short term, I'm looking for downside till the end of March, the start of April. And then I think there's going to be a phenomenal opportunity to be bullish. So I just kind of want to explain my mindset on the different time frames. Now, bringing it back to specifically this week, we do have the JOLTS job openings tomorrow morning. There's nothing really scheduled today. We have our own inflation report coming out Wednesday, the CPI report, then we have the PPI report on Thursday. We're also somewhat in earnings season. It's pretty much the end. Oracle's the biggest tech play of the week. Some of you pay attention to Adobe. There's DocuSign and Ulta Beauty, but we're pretty much done with earnings season. As a friendly reminder, the seasonality is still kind of in this choppy period, but historically, as in over the past 30 years, the end of March and pretty much all of April are dominated by the bulls. This is on the last 30 years worth of data. Over the last 5 years worth of data, you can see that this week and next week still dominated by the bears. But then as soon as we really get into April, seasonally very strong. What's so exciting about this particular stat right here is not only is this historically very bullish, but the way our current, like this year's option chain is setting up for the March OPEX heading into April, it's also actually very suggestive of a bottom being put in and bouncing off of that. So there's two things going, the current option setup and already the existing seasonality over the last 30, 20, 15, 10, 5 years, whatever time frame. The start of April is very bullish. So there's two things really coming together. They're going to be coalescing the end of March, start of April, and that's my big prediction of when the bottom is going to be put in. And for more of the shorter term swing traders, where I'm personally going to be looking for finding that opportunity of a low risk opportunity to be going long. Now, to get even more nuance with it, obviously this is free, mattkohrs.locals.com. This comes to everyone's email inbox who signs up every single Sunday, 100% free. I break down the previous week, what I'm looking for the upcoming week, all the earnings I talked about. I give you a little cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events, and then I give you the seasonality for each individual day. So coming to today, why do I think the bears are currently in control? Well, first of all, I have eyeballs. Bearish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour on the S&P 500 futures market is clearly bearish. If you look at the NASDAQ, the story does not change. Bearish. So first of all, why am I bearish today? Like I said, I have eyeballs. I don't have red-green color behind this. I can see that this is red. I can see we're trending down. I can see we're making lower highs and lower lows. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. People get a little excited by a bit of green and they think it's the bottom. You know when else they thought that it was the bottom? Right here on Wednesday, March the 5th. You know else when they thought it was the bottom? Right here. Friday, February the 28th. You know where else they thought it was the bottom? Right here. Wednesday, February 26th. The second we have such an extreme sell-off and then people see a little bit of green, everyone's just like, dude, that's it. That's the bottom. And guess what? They were wrong here. They were wrong here. And I feel very strongly they're gonna be wrong here. So overall trend clearly down, shorter term trend clearly down. And then Looking at the options market, like I said, clearly a lot of negative gamma, which means we can have like huge moves today. Granted, that also theoretically can mean to the upside. If a lot of people close out their puts, I mean, we could explode. We're talking maybe even over 100 points. That's theoretically possible. But there's one interesting stat I want to show you, and this is a special shout out here for Spot Gamma. They did an interesting breakdown. Remember, Captain Condor last week was playing 30,000 on the put credit side, 30,000 on the call credit side. Check this out. Right here. Where was it? I thought this was fascinating. One of the highlights from Friday's AM note was the massive 0 DT EIV with the shadow pricing at $80. This huge pricing occurred on the same day. The large 30,000 0 DT condors. Captain Condor, huge call credit spread, huge put credit spread, ended up hitting. The end result of the session was a giant nothing. We sold off, we bounced back, we were slightly green on the day, as the XPX was essentially unchanged on the day, resulting in a big payday for the short vol community and obviously Captain Condor. But here's the fascinating part right here. And obviously special shout out to Spot Gamma for doing this breakdown. The Condor is gone today, and our data shows that on days following a 10,000 plus size Condor, realized volatility expands. As in, they are looking for vol to go higher. That is huge. Obviously, vol going higher is generally bearish. This is true on 12 out of 12 occasions. As in, over the last 12 occurrences, this has a 100% accuracy rate. This is true on 12 out of 12 occasions, meaning today's move is not likely to be that penny Friday. So on Friday, even though clearly like trading it felt like we had a lot of range, and we really, as a person looking maybe at the daily chart, you'd be like, not really the most happened. Today, we are setting up not only from just like these historical trends of what happens when Captain Condor leaves, 12 out of 12, vol went higher. So, I mean, technically that already hit because we did barely hit a new high VIX around 825 this morning. But when we're pairing that together with the fact that we're in so much dramatically negative gamma right now, I cannot definitively tell you if today will be bullish or bearish. I'm leaning towards the bears being in control for a myriad of different reasons. But what I can tell you with way more confidence is that things are going to get like pretty wild with respect to volatility. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, so and just the seasonality. So the seasonality of this period of today, negative gamma, negative price trend, my bias. It's not just bearish, it is very bearish, which is exactly why I carried all of my positions over the weekend, and I am now waking up to a nice $40,000 gain. Someone was asking, they're like, oh, did you carry it? Did you carry it? Yeah, right there. 40,000. I'm trying to do the reload so you guys can see it in real time. 40,000 looks like on MSTR. I am currently up 86%, which is a nice $6,900 return. And then on NDX, I am currently up 28%, which is a nice $17,000 return. So I'm going to hold it for a second. I might be locking these in because even though I do believe strongly the bears are in control, I also recognize in the current environment, things can switch and they can switch pretty violently. So because they can switch pretty violently, I don't want to get caught up in that. I was more than willing to hold it through Friday because of Captain Condor and understanding what it means when that position comes off the table. Captain Condor is not here today. Today, there's, like I could show you, there's no stability in the system. We are in a massive, right here, all this negative gamma. We're in a negative gamma, negative delta situation. So if it breaks my way, obviously I'm going to be stoked and I'm going to ride it. And I have, hang on. It just like stalled out on me. My Chrome failed. Well, that's a bummer. Hello? Hello? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Okay. Sorry, that was just took an awkward second. I'm watching, obviously I have MSTR. Like I said, they did an at the market offering. I've been swinging that. I mean, that's the position I was just showing you right here, MSTR. This was alerted in the Discord days ago, and it was kind of a technical setup. And then obviously there were some announcements that are helping me even more. But really what I'm watching is what in the world is going on with this NDX position. My net position's up 20 and my 1 day return is up 35. So I need to pay close attention. But without further ado, I do want to give you these levels very quickly. Let me go to the 10-minute. This might make more sense. So first thing I want to point out is we almost actually had a legitimate breakout on Friday. Just looking at the lower highs, lower lows, there was a right at the end. It almost got going and we closed above the trend line. Obviously, we got a brutal smack below this downsloping trend line today. So that's the new line that you guys haven't seen yet on the chart. Obviously, I have the previous high, the previous low, and the previous close, the red, the green, and the white respectively. Once again, the green is the last session's high, the red is the last session's low, and the white is the last session's close. Remember, we do know those odds from Edgeville. Upon breaking the high or the low, it does really give you a strong indication of where we're going to close relative to the previous close. Since we're closer to the low, if we snap 5,666, that is the low from Friday. If we snap that, there's a 77% chance that we will close somewhere below the last closing value of 5,770. Obviously, that one's pretty far away this time, so it might seem like kind of a no-brainer to you, but I just wanted to call that out. And then also as always, the yellow/golden lines. These are all the key option levels of the day. So it goes like this. I know there's these levels up here just in case we revert, but honestly, the two you should focus on are 5,700 and 5,650. Yes, people are playing these other levels, but not only because we're the closest to it, but in terms of the market's actual interest, the market is most interested in 5,700 and 5,650. The bull case on this, just today, the intraday action of the day is this. If we can get above and hold above 5,700, then look for a push all the way up to the closing value from Friday, which would be a nice $7 push in the SPY, $6 push in the SPX. But that's going to be a big level to recapture. We opened there this morning. The market didn't like it the most. We're now vomiting below it, seemingly making a push to the closing value from Friday. Now from here, obviously breaking this, breaking that, my main bearish target would be 5,650. Once again, this is a major options level. So it's a slight overshoot of the low value from Friday. If this does not hold 5,650, there is a shitload of open interest there. So pay attention to that. Now, because of how much action is currently playing out at 5,650, I doubt we break on the first attempt. If we do break, that's where it kind of gets scary because there's nothing really below 5,650 to protect it. And honestly, it might be a pretty quick puke all the way down to 5,600. That there could easily be a 50-point move there, which would be roughly equivalent to $5 in the SPY. But that's a giant if because there's so many people structured right at this level. So that's kind of my bear case scenario of a breakdown of the low, and then I'm watching 5,650, and there are good odds of a bounce. But if it starts to break, I'd be looking for an outsized puke, which would be aligning with the various other things that we are kind of seeing in the big negative gamma, negative delta, the stability so low, Captain Condor, we don't have the gamma support from that player or that group of players, whoever that is. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce right now. We just got that puke, a little bit of a pop, a little bit of a breakdown. Right here, vol did expand. Let me go to the 30-minute. The top right is the chart of VIX. We actually just took out the high from Friday and taking out the high from Tuesday, March the 4th. So we're at the highest VIX reading, which means get ready for some ranges. Definitely get ready for some ranges. It's going to get wild. So I marked those out. You know what I'm going to do now is I'll just set up an alert for a new high reading, just so we know. If the VIX starts to push 27, 28, especially if we start to push above 28, I think at that point, we're actually going to be talking about potentially 5,600 today. So I want to call that out there. Remember, coming into today, because of many things, my bias is towards the bearish side, but you should never be married to it. Understand the things that would have to happen for you to be quote unquote wrong, for you to go to the other side. Because of that, I always have my bull case and I always have my bear case, and then whatever my bias is the case that I'm looking to play on that particular day. But just because things can shift so quickly, especially noteworthy in these particular environments, I do think it is massively financially beneficial for you to have both cases at really any moment in time. The current flow on the day, the Mag 7 is getting hit, and the SPY popped till about 9:35, 9:36. It's coming off a little bit right now. The SPY is kind of violently going nowhere, while the Mag 7 is legitimately getting hit. Obviously, I have not executed any trades yet. You can see all my accounts right here. I just want to make sure I have everything set up properly, just in case I see that opportunity I do want to take advantage of. Let's get ready on all fronts. Let's get ready on all fronts. That's already a 2 standard deviation move, dude. We got some action. We got some motion today. I kind of laid it out exactly what I'm looking for right here. Here, we'll go to the 3. Let's just go to the 1 minute so you guys can see this a little bit better. A push and a hold above 5,700, not just like a push, but like actually we trade there and there's some nice volume and some stability and maybe VWAP comes above it. That would be maybe the intraday bullish push to the upside. The longer we stay below this, the less stable the system gets, and it's already a very unstable system, highly increasing the shots of us testing Friday's low. And then on that test of Friday's low, if we don't have a very quick bounce there, I'd be looking for an even faster puke to this major options level of 56.50, which is about $1.50 less on the SPY. So if you need the SPY equivalent levels, that would put us at like roughly 564, which also just happens to be a big level of technical support as well. So if you're looking for those rough equivalents upon the snap of Friday's low for both SPX and SPY, I think there's a shot at an additional sell-off, and we're just going to see if it plays out. We have a little bit of consolidation right now. The first place my mind goes is, can I play this trend line breakdown? That could be an interesting play. Right now, the 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour are bearish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour are bearish. The Mag 7, hang on, am I missing my opportunity? Am I missing my opportunity? I'm watching for this trend line snap. Obviously, we have, going back to 930, we push to the downside, we bounce a little bit, we put in a higher low, and now we're just getting a bit of consolidation. So just trying to be patient and wait. You guys can see this, right? Okay, yeah, I am on the proper screen. Waiting for this opportunity to, by the way, obviously, if you guys saw my Twitter, I do have 20 Apex accounts back, and now I also have 5 take profits. So I'm actually going to be trading on 25 different SIMDA-funded companies. So looking for that opportunity. Looking, waiting. And as I'm waiting, a very quick shout out to obviously today's stream partner, Public. It's exactly where I'm trading. It's exactly where I'm holding this position. This is my favorite place to trade options, and it's this simple. There's no commission fees. There's no per contract fees. It's free to download. It's free to sign up. But the best thing about trading on Public here, which is why I have almost all of my money when I'm option trading on this one, is because of rebates. There is no other brokerage on this planet that gives you a rebate every single time you trade an option. Doesn't matter if it's a call or put. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. Every single time you are actively trading an options contract, you will be earning a rebate. So no matter where you are in your trading journey, your trading career, you are by definition going to be better off on Public because you're earning a rebate. If you're a profitable trader, you'll be more profitable. If you're not a profitable trader, the pain's going to be a little bit less because at least you're getting the rebate. If you are an option trader or an inspiring option trader, highly recommend you checking out Public. There's a reason why it's my favorite. As soon as you're going to get on it, I think you're going to enjoy it as much as I do. And obviously, just to show you, I put my money where my mouth is. This is my Public account right there. I'm showing you everything going on. Where are we at year to date? Year to date, up a nice 126. That is disgusting. And I first found out about it because of the rebate thing, and then seeing the development and the work that they've been putting in recently. Obviously, I'm just personally a massive fan. So check it out. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. If you use that link, you're going to start off at a higher rebate tier. There is like a scale system to the rebates, so you're going to start higher off by using that link. So once again, use the link. It is free to use that link, free to download, free to sign up, no commission fees, no per contract fees. By far, it's not even close. It is by far my favorite place to trade options. I think you guys are going to like it as much as I do. So check that out. Show them a little bit of love, and obviously a shout out to Public for being partnered up with us, the Goonie community, for such a long time. All right, I'm going to set an alert on volatility breaking out, but I'm seeing some news on Tesla. Tesla is getting slaughtered right now. So it looks like most people are kind of talking about these two stocks on the screen right now. Tesla getting slaughtered, MicroStrategy getting slaughtered. I don't have a Tesla position right now. Bitcoin trading at 82, actually trying to recover a little bit. We are tapping that 5,700. This is going to be a telling move. Does the SPX get above and hold above 5,700? Obviously, we started above it. We had a very quick puke down to 72. We're popping a bit right now. This is the first major test of the day. Are the bulls going to show up and get us above it, or are the bears going to come in here and start to smash the market? Let me go to the 30-second on the Mag 7. The Mag 7 is showing quite a bit of weakness, so that's not what you'd want to see for us overcoming that level. The SPX is a little bit more indecisive. We puked, we popped, we puked, a little bit of a pop, but the Mag 7, which the combo of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, which clearly has a huge influence on the SPY and the Qs, the delta flow has been down all day. Actually, the delta flow is so negative, I'm surprised we even had this size of a bounce right now. But in terms of like the size of these bounces, you can't really be that surprised when just vol is so high. I mean, these types of moves, at this point, you should be expecting them. Large moves to the downside, large moves to the upside. And I would say, at least for me, the key way to be able to stomach this without getting tricked into, oh, is it bullish, is it bearish, is that's exactly why you want to lay out the key levels. I have my bull case above this, and I have my bear case below it. So I just pay attention to the key levels, and in the in-between, I don't get freaked out and be like, well, look how big of a dump this was. Look how big of a pop this was. Nope. I just play it from level to level to level. It really does make my life a little bit easier. The 5-minute, tried to go green there, quickly got smacked. The NASDAQ is nowhere close to going green. So for me, even if there's a recovery at this moment, it goes against my system to be throwing on a bullish position just because there's too many bearish things like actively happening. So that's kind of the setup, waiting for my opportunity. I haven't made any trades today. I am watching vol to see if VIX goes above 27. That's where things get really frosty. Actively right now, I'm paying attention to see if the SPX is going to actually recapture this. I have no idea. Anyone who can tell you if we're going to break or fail at resistance or support, they're smoking something. They're trying to sell you something. I promise you that. All you can possibly do as an active trader is when you get to key levels like this, you have to just pay attention. You have to 100%. That's all you can do. You don't sit there and be like, yep, it's going to break. I'm going to buy now, because inherently you're buying with the worst risk. If you want to try to fade it, well, at least you have defined risks. I don't necessarily, that's not for my play, but I know there are people who are successful doing that. The biggest thing is you find these key levels, whether it's technical, psychological, or options, or in this case, it's actually all three. That's why 5,700 is so important, because it is a key technical level, a key psychological level, and a key options level. So it's the most important of levels. When you find things like that, yeah, you just sit there and you kick back and you just wait and see, okay, are the bulls stepping up or are the bears stepping up? Right now, I see that the Mag 7 is popping. Doesn't make the most sense to me, because I just see the Mag 7 options are getting slaughtered. And then the SPY is probably why we're holding decently. It's because the options have not decided yet. To give you more of a granular view, here's the 5-second. We sold, we popped, we sold, we popped. It's just indecisive. So, I mean, it should be expected because we're here at the level, and we're not seeing follow through in either direction, whether a rejection or a follow through, because options they're not doing squat right now. So we just have to wait. We just have to wait. And, man, a perfect play in my book, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but I want to call this out now to see if maybe I could just put it out into the universe and I could be a little bit of a fortune teller here, is the SPX failing at this level, starting to show weakness, cracking 93, maybe cracking something like 86. Like, I'm just looking at some of these recent lows. Basically, I'm looking for a dump in the 0DT options where we start to take out these trend lines. And then I hope that's the perfect short opportunity of the day. I hope that's the perfect short opportunity of the day. That might not happen. Obviously, in the other scenario, this could hold 5,700 and the bulls might have a nice push all the way up to the closing value from Friday. Well, that's also a very possible scenario. All I can tell you is this is the main watch. I don't think there's a financial sense right now in making the bet at this moment in time, because who knows? But that's why I just keep feverishly coming back and checking the options flow, because if I see it start to break back down to the south side, that's probably what I'm personally going to be taking advantage of today. All right. What is that? Ooh, that's $1,000 risk. All right. we're going to see if I could play this trend line breakdown. I'm looking at the options flow over here on my other monitor, starting to see a bit of weakness. So like I said, I called out the play beforehand. I told you exactly what I was looking for, not only snapping the trend line. I wanted to see the options market start to sell. It started to sell. Will it continue to sell? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. All I can tell you is it's setting up with the larger theme, and I also have well-defined risk. So right here, all the trades are live, 25 different accounts, my 5 take profit and 20 apex. This is actually day one of me being back on these accounts. Obviously, in case you missed the news last week, it was absolutely brutal and I got my ass handed to me. Lost all the accounts, which was devastating, but your options it's actually relatively simple. You either quit or you just restart. And obviously you guys can tell I've made the decision to just restart. I do need to do some quick math here though, of the most money I can go for. All right, I cannot, if there is a puke on, just because of the consistency rules, I cannot ride it farther than this. But I don't know if that will hit. I'd be stoked if that hits, but I care a lot more of my risk management. I'm on this time around, all of those rules that I've laid out to all of you guys are the things I do and don't pay attention to. And my rules, I really am going to attempt to do my best to hold myself as accountable as like I humanly can. Tesla, new intraday high, or low, sorry, my bad, unless you're looking at the screen upside down. Tesla vomiting to 245, 246. MSTR, I would love to see it to take out 258. I'm still riding my puts, currently up $47,000 on the day. Let's see if I can catch something today. Let's see if I can catch something today. Like I said, this is day one back. Day one back. I'm looking for the snap of 800. On the snap of 800, obviously, I'll be moving my stop down to break even at that point. I'll be moving my stop to break even at that point. So basically, right about there. Oops, why did that not draw? I'm giving it a little room to breathe right now because, okay, is it a breakdown? Is it a retest? Whatever. Obviously, I'd prefer I just stay green this entire time. That would make my life a whole heck of a lot easier. But kind of watching this trend line. And like I said, for me to move my stop to break even where I just have no risk, I'm looking for the snap of 800, which thus far this morning, we do see some market participants reacting to. So I'm hoping that this isn't a higher low. All I can say is I saw the structural shift with bearish, bearish, bearish. Bearish, bearish, bearish. I saw the options flow. I got in right around here, around 47. So I saw a bit of a puke. Right now it's bouncing a little bit. Let me go to the 30. Let me go to the 30. All right. I don't see what this bounces from because the SPY is not interested in it. Maybe they want to do a second test of 5,700. I guess you could watch this trend line now. That's kind of an obvious trend line watch. All right. Patience. Patience, patience, patience. Now we're just kind of sitting and waiting. I do have up the options flow on this other screen. So if I see a crazy, well, actually it just got hit again. I'll show you on the 5-second right here. Just got hit. More specifically, what is it? It is calls are being sold and puts are being purchased. So kind of really the train started to come off the track at 946.40. So right before 947, people started to buy 0DT puts and they were selling their calls. I don't see where price is popping right here. The options market is not agreeing with this price pop whatsoever. But like I said, we are in crazy times. So you can't necessarily just like blindly sit there and be like, oh, it's completely wrong, because at the end of the day, price is obviously price. So why in the world can I not see my position over here? Okay. Cool. I just want to make sure I'm managing it, because if it does start to pop, I just want to get out and take, if I have to take a hit, obviously I want to take the smallest hit possible. So I'm now watching for a breakdown of this trend line, 934 to 949. Obviously, I am also feverishly watching what is happening with options. What in the world is happening with options? What's happening with the Mag 7? On the Mag 7, people sold calls. They really didn't touch puts. Kind of interesting to note. Tesla, we're getting cracked. Okay, did it go to my level? All right, cool. I now have a free play. Is it going to bounce? I have to do it. 44. Dude, the volatility is picking up. I hope it just doesn't wake me out. All right. All right, all right, all right. Come on, don't bounce back. It might wick me out, which would be not fun. Not fun for your boy. I want to see a push down to this, the 2 standard deviation move. I don't want to see this recovery. Come on, stop. Especially when you're just starting an account, these bounces, because it's based off your peak high. So it's better for you to be locking it in, which I kind of forgot about. Come on. Come on, break my way. Let's see something down here, like 760. It is for these accounts, and based on like their consistency rules and some other just nuances of how these work, when your account is just getting started, it is more difficult to do trend following. When your accounts are just getting rocking, there is a mathematical argument that you should just be going for certain like profit targets and just take that and move on. Just want to throw that out there. I mean, I would love it if my most extreme target gets hit, but there's also a part of my mind that if I see it push to 50 or 60, I might be interested in taking that. So I'm just watching closely. The options market is puking right there. Someone just hit the Mag 7 pretty hard. Someone hit the SPY pretty hard. We did have a failure at 5,700. Obviously watch this intraday low at 70. Basically watch 72 followed by 66 followed by 50. Those are the 3 levels to watch. Intraday low, Friday's low, and then the next options level, 56.50. These are working well for me. Currently up 52,000. The MSTR plays up 148%. I'm up about 12 grand there. And then my NDX, I'm up 44%, which is 28,000, but it's a 42 recovery on the day. All right. This is pushing. All right. I need to pay a little bit closer attention to this because I don't want to fuck myself over on my first day of getting these. Like I said, these accounts are brand new, brand spanking new. This is day 1 of me on my attempt to recover all of that fucking money that I lost. Right. Moving the stop. Like I said, I don't really want to necessarily be trend following right now. I gotta think about how smart I want to be here. I gotta think about how smart I want to be. Should I have just taken that at 58? Oh, okay. No, that's the last thing I wanted to see. These pullbacks. Oh, fuck. I forgot. Dude, some of these rules can really fuck you. I forgot about that. Oh, man, it's been such a long time. I remember now it's like coming back to me in real time. When you first start these accounts, you really should just be hitting certain profit targets and not trend following. Fuck. Okay. So here's what I have to do is ideally as close to this intraday low as I can get it or a push below it. I need to take that. I can't be playing so loosey-goosey today because of the drawbacks, because all these numbers are based off of your unrealized high, which I completely and utterly forgot about. Fuck. No. It is making it more difficult, even though you're in the green. And I forgot. Fuck me. That was so stupid. Oh, this is what happens when the last time I had to deal with it was early December. Okay, if I could just get a secondary test, because right here, if I could get out, that was obviously the unrealized high. So if I can make my realized high roughly the same or higher than the unrealized, then I'm golden. But the more it pulls back, the more dangerous this game becomes. Which, fuck, it's going to knock me out here. Come on, don't knock me out. Oh, it's a good trade, but it's not a good trade, folks. Okay, my unrealized high was 1.8, so I had a $1,300 drawdown. That's not what I wanted that to be. I completely forgot about how like you have to kind of structurally play it different. It is better just to go for like measured targets. not trend following. I guess I could have taken it right here. I should have taken it right here. I completely forgot. Like I was such in the mode of trend following that it just escaped me 100%. All right, what's the best way for me to manage that then going forward? I completely forgot about that. It's not a risk thing, Max. Like I said, it's how they measure your drawdown. Your drawdown is from your unrealized high, not from your realized high. So let's say, for example, you run up 3K and then come out for break even. That's actually problematic because in their eyes, you were up 3K and like lost 3K, even though it's because they're measuring it off of your unrealized, not your realized. And I forgot that because as soon as you have enough buffer, it gives you the leeway to be more of a trend following trader. But it just escaped me for a second. I'm wondering if this bounce here is going to fail. Oh, but I'm out. Obviously, I did lock in money. So this is all realized. $500 on each account on all 25 accounts. So that's about 12K locked in. An uncomfortable 12K. All right, I got to be smarter about this of how I want to do it. Why not use Top Step? They don't have as many rules. I don't really like Top Step. They have a daily loss limit unless you're using like Top Step X, and I don't like that platform. Just not my cup of tea. 28. All right, this is my last trade of the day on these accounts. I'm trying to hold myself very, very accountable. I do find on these accounts, it's when you first get going that they are the most difficult. It's your first couple days, it's your first couple trades when you have no real buffer that the difficulty is at the highest, which is more so why like my own self-talk is just follow your rules. As your account grows and you have a bigger buffer, yeah, you can take on a bit more risk, you can take on a bit more variance, but when it is the most difficult at the start. Okay, come on. Trying to get back to that. My goal is to match my realized high with my unrealized high, so I don't fuck myself on the buffer rule. Fuck, is it going to happen again? I got to watch this because the last time we bounced right out of this 2 standard deviation. Come on. Don't bounce. Stop it. One more puke. Give me a second puke like you did before. It tapped it, bounced, and we had one more puke. All right, first thing I need to do is take all risk off the table. So my stop is at break even. I'm not losing money, but right now what my mind's focusing on is these other rules that they have. Fuck. Are we not going to get that secondary puke? Stop bouncing. It's bouncing so aggressively off this 2. Come on, one more flush and I'll be golden. One more flush and I'll be golden. Like I said, I'm not risking money. My stop is there, but it's more of unrealized versus realized. I want my unrealized high and my realized high to basically be the same for the first 2 weeks of trading. And on top of that, my other goal is the success I first had in December with the accounts that I got the $250,000 in payouts from, or almost $250,000 to be technically accurate. I think the big benefit of why that was, or the big reason of why I had success was because in the very first week or in a very short time period, I was able to get the buffer up to 10K. Your success in these accounts goes way, way up the bigger your buffer is. What are we doing? Is it bound? Do I need to close? We're playing with fire here, Tonto. Oh, getting ready. Something just broke down. All right. Like I said, I'm kind of watching for a retracement. We'll move the stop down. No matter what, I'm making money. My finger's on the trigger if there's a bit of a pop. Watching this 57 or 19,700 level. Where is SPX? We're cracking, I believe, yesterday's low or the intraday low. What are we doing? I can't really click off right now just because like I might have to get out of this like very quickly. What's the options flow looking like? Options flow is at the lowest delta of the day. Come on. Come on. Just snap 19.7. Come on. This is where I got in trouble last time. Was it recovered on above this line and it popped? That's why my finger is so ready to go. I'm trying to give it a shot just because I know this is a key level that people are probably focusing on. So the market, there's probably good odds that it wants to evaluate this. But just in case there's a bounce, I need to get out, and I need to get out aggressively. All right, moving the stop even more. Currently up 1,700 on top of the 5 to 600 I already locked in. All right, are we going to snap it? Come on. Come on. Another little retest here. Come on. Come on. Delta's still dropping. Calm, cool, collected. We've been here before. All right. 2K locked in. So what's that? 40,000 on these accounts and then another 10. So 50,000 locked in. I'm happy with that. The peak high and my realized high is only off by $500. So that's something I could definitely work with. The peak high, I like that. And good. Like I said, that was my last trade on these accounts. This is one thing. I was going through all my journaling before of how I made this money in the past. And I think, oh, of course, it like barely wicked me out and goes. But hey, that it is what it is. Hang on. Pull all working orders. Yes. Let me kill this. I just want to make sure that I'm completely flat. But yeah, no, locked in right there, 50K. Good first day back. It's funny that in real time, you really do have to play it differently the first 2 weeks until you build up the buffer. So I'm happy with it. Of course, maybe I could have held it through that, but then knowing my luck, it would have kept going. I really do think that this keeps going, and I just want to clarify, I'm playing it. It's just you have to play things differently. So this is up 40K. The account is up 65,000 today. So I'm still playing it. It's just obviously I have to play options differently than I play futures, especially the fact that these accounts are brand new and they're baby accounts. I just need to be a little bit smarter and basically protect myself from myself and not do the dumb things that I've done in the past. So I'm still riding this, and we're right at that low from Friday. So this trade that I explained to you guys really was a perfect setup. I probably would have held that first trade this entire time had I had a buffer, but I cannot stress this enough. I believe the recent Apex account that I had from the start of December up until last week when I blew out, it worked well because of that initial buffer. That's exactly why. So what I have to do is basically for all of these accounts, I need to play even more defensively and most likely not in a trend following mantra, more of trend following, but then hit specific targets just because I want to grow my realized and my unrealized pretty much at the same rate up until about 10K. So this is the first of ideally many trades. My realized is 2K. My unrealized high was 2.5. So there's only a delta of about $400 or $500. But right there, just to show it to you guys, 50K locked in, the 20 Apex accounts, the 10 or the 5 take profit. So 2,000 on each one. I have 25 accounts, so 2,000 times 25. That's how I made the 50 grand there. Happy to be coming back. And then obviously what I'm very excited about is how these are growing. So that's up 15K on MSTR, and these are up about 35, 36,000 and $50,000 return on this today. So I'm still riding the trend. I don't want you guys to think that I'm still sticking to this as my major target, without a doubt. We took out my first one, which was the intraday low at 934. We're right now testing the low from Friday. That is a bearish thing because we already cracked it. And now, obviously, I've been calling out this level too. This is the main level I care about right there. Actually, I'll set an alert so we know if we're getting there. The options flow looks pretty brutal. You could see some puts were being purchased and calls are being sold this entire time. Looking at the SPY, you can see that this is getting cracked. What do we actually have going on? Oh, they're selling calls and buying puts. That's really dropping the delta. If I continue to see this particular trend that we're seeing right now, oh, someone just attempted to buy calls. So some buyers are stepping in right here. No surprise. It's the low from Friday. That's a key level to react to. The overall trend, though, is pretty brutal. So I think we're going to have that real shot. But if we start to bounce out of here, guess what? I'm just going to take my money and I'm going to say thank you. I made 50 grand trading futures. I'm up 65 grand trading options. When you have a $100,000 day, especially after the week I had last week, you don't really need to do pedal to the metal type of stuff. Yo, what's with the caps? Why are people yelling? Bro, these aren't brand new accounts. Stop lying to us. It's okay. You cash out, but lying about it is crazy. Been here since the start. Why do you think they're not? I showed it to you. I literally, this morning at the start of stream, I showed you all the brand new accounts. Maybe you have no idea, Seth. I pay attention. All right, King, explain to me why you think that these are not new accounts. Literally at the start of stream, I showed you all the new accounts. It said $150,000 flat. I guess I just want to show you this before I ban you because you're a fucking retard who is lying for no real reason. But I'll actually even log in here and I'll show you this. So obviously this was at the start of the day. Well, that's awkward. Days traded 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So this was the start of the day. Account 441, 442, 443, 444. Days traded 0, 0, 0. Wow, look at that. It's the exact same account numbers. And the only difference is the 150 plus that. So come again on why you think that they aren't brand new when here's the exact evidence of them being brand new? Or are you just fucking stupid? What a weird thing to lie about. Oh my God, the age of the accounts. Why, out of all things I would lie about, wouldn't I lie about something? Wouldn't I lie oh, I didn't blow up my accounts to make myself seem better? Out of all the things I would lie about, that would be the dumbest fucking thing to lie about. How did I pass the eval? I bought a shitload of accounts right before the unemployment report on Friday, and I sent 20 long and 20 short and 20 passed. Don't ban the dude before giving the bro a second to say my bad. Yeah, I'm waiting. I want to know what his reasoning is. I'm at this point now. I'm now invested in this story. He went silent after turning up with the receipts. Okay, my fuck, bro. Just asking. You explained. I'm not stupid, but I just called it out to be sure. No, you're actually fucking stupid. Don't say you're stupid. You are legitimately, not only are you stupid, you're the worst kind of stupid. You're also additionally a liar. You said, bro, these accounts aren't brand new accounts. Stop lying to us. So you're the liar. You're the piece of shit liar because you said I was lying. So no. This isn't, oh, I was wrong and I was calling it out. You legitimately told the entire stream that I was lying. This wasn't, oh, like a question. Now you're backtracking because you're a little bit of a fucking pussy. So you're backtracking saying, no. I didn't do that at all. I didn't do that at all. No, you told me I'm a liar. You're a fucking retard who actually, as proven, now we all know that you're a complete piece of shit. Dude, the internet, I'm just calling it out. And then you try to say you're not stupid. We both know you're stupid. And actually, it's not just the two of us. Now, literally, everyone knows you're stupid. What a fucking dumb thing. Like, that might be the worst hill to die on that we've ever seen in chat here. What a fucking dumbass. I mean, and that, to the rest of you in stream, that should actually make you feel good. And I know you might be thinking to yourself, why would this conversation make me feel good? Well, remember, your success in the market is kind of dependent on dumber people than you also engaging in the market. So you might wake up and be like, man, I don't know, this market game, it's a tough game. Like, there's a lot of very strong, shrewd, intellectual players out there. Well, this should be good news to you because clearly there's people so fucking stupid that you actually have a good shot. You have a real good shot. So like, I think to the rest of you in chat, you should be like, finally, at least you know you're not the dumbest person at the party. I just said I saw the Apex 4-digit number and I'm not backtracking. Plus, I apologize. No, you're backtracking. What a fucking dipshit. What a dipshit. But that's the internet for you. We're hanging right at the low right here. Some buyers did step in. More specifically, calls got bought. You can see it right here on the SPY. The reason we're struggling right here is the 0DT sell-off stopped, and then we got a little bit of a pop here at 10:08, a little bit of a pop here at 10:12. Not a crazy pop. I mean, some puts got closed out, but people just bought these puts back. So we're just at this next level. I called out the first level. I called out the second level. Literally, I called this exact range out to you, and I traded it in front of you, locking in $50,000 on brand new accounts. And I'm riding these other ones just in case I get lucky and there's a capitulation down to my next level. But I don't know if there's going to be. All I can tell you is just play it from level to level to level. And if you have a difficult time knowing what levels to play per day, let me make it incredibly simple for you. Map out the previous day's high, low, close. Right away, those are going to be important levels. The previous day's high, low, close. Mark those out. That's the first thing you do. And then from there, to get the key option levels, you just buy a service like Spot Gamma that lays it all out for you, and you could see the options flow. Like, it's not like a heavily guarded secret or anything like that. We might be getting a little bit of a pop right off this low. A little bit of a pop. Hang on. Are people buying this trend line breakout? We're right at the trend line test. The high from 944 to 958. We're right at this test. If it gets above it, guess what? Look for a recovery up to 5,700. If it gets smacked, look for this retest of 566. If that doesn't hold, we're talking 5,650. Have that bull case, have that bear case, and play it accordingly. I personally wouldn't play the bull case today. I know even Friday is a great example of us like seeing pretty crazy recoveries. Obviously, that fascinating recovery on Friday. So I know when it gets going in either direction, it can really, really get going. So that's another way to say that if you're bearish like I am, don't necessarily overstay your welcome on your puts either, especially if it's like a 0DT or shorter expiration, and just because things can move against you very, very quickly. So for both camps, whether you're watching this as a bull or a bear, you got to know the fact that, let me show you this. I mean, just absurdly, let me just reload it to double check. Very, very negative gamma. Remember, when you see negative gamma, when you hear negative gamma, think, wow, we could really go. Right now, the delta pressure is pushing down to 56.50. If everything else was held constant right now, we would drift all the way down to roughly 56.50. Obviously, that's not possible, though, because people are always trading. But I just did want to let you know that from the market maker's perspective, there is negative delta pressure at this particular juncture to surprise, the exact level we've been talking about this entire time, 56.50. I'm still riding these MSTR puts, which I believe are looking phenomenal. They are up 206%, 208%. I highly recommend that you guys get into the Discord because this was called out to all of them like days ago. When did I actually get into it? Purchase date, March 7th. So on March 7th, I got into it. I called, that was Friday. So on Friday, actually, I remember I did it right pretty much at market open or like around 9:45 or something. Ask everyone in the Discord. This was called out in real time and you could have gotten it for free because your first month of this service is 100% free. And then also, obviously, I've been calling out this stuff in real time. To be fair, this one was more painful to hold on to because I was in it on Thursday and on Friday. So I went from being up a lot to being down a decent amount back to being up. So this was a harder one to stomach, especially after the trading week that I had. But obviously it looks like fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold there, Tonto. Yes, it does. Yes. Next level's on coin. Let me open up another chart and we could do a little bit of review as we're waiting for this thing to absolutely plummet. Oh, all right. So just from a basic technical perspective, you're looking obviously for this recent breakdown of 193, last week's low, it looks like. And then from there, this is a pretty easy setup. There's not much to this one. 193 followed by 176. And then if it gets going real bad, you're talking 160. But I would say this is the trade. I don't like entering right here because your risk is too far away. But if you're already riding a position and whatever, your stop's already at break even or something, what you're looking for is the snap of 193 and the capitulation down to 176. That's how I would play if I were in a position, but I wouldn't enter here because there's more risk than there is reward to enter at this point that you're praying for the breakdown. That's why I personally liked MSTR more because when I got into it on Friday, I had much smaller risk. And if it broke 272, I called that out in real time to all you guys. I was like, oh, okay. Then I'm looking then for the push to about 232. So I needed 272 to snap, which obviously happened. We're at 248. So now I'm looking for 232, which is about another $20, which if it does come to fruition would obviously be very, very nice for these. This is almost at 20K and climbing. Yeah, okay. I mean, today's a pretty simple setup. I mean, we called out this level. We called out this level. Watching this trend line, I told you I thought it was going to get smacked because of the weakness that we were currently seeing in the options market. We had some puts being monetized, but not that many calls came in. So as of now, I'm still looking for this. I want to be explicitly clear. I think the SPY could basically go to 564, but I followed the SPX levels a little bit more, and I'm directly looking at 5650. This is the exact level. Now, what's interesting, in the event we get to 5650, a very fair question is, Matt, what are the odds of a breakdown or a bounce? And what's weird about it is there's a lot of people positioned there. So most likely you'll have calls being bought and puts being monetized, which there's a lot of puts now to be monetized because people have been buying puts all fucking day. So at a certain point, they're going to want to monetize. As you see these blue lines go down, that's people buying puts and they're buying 0 DTE puts. So think about it. The market as a whole is buying these 0 DTE puts, as in they're expiring today, as in those players have to make a decision. Well, that's a pretty important level to make a decision at, because if you look at the daily chart, I mean, we can all see low, we're kind of at these key levels right now. And like, look at this previous resistance. So we're coming up on a very important technical level that all these players, I bet they're paying attention to it. So the odds of a bounce are pretty decent, but then just because something's pretty decent, does that necessarily make it a good play? Should we be going long there? Should, I don't know, we be monetizing our bearish levels there? And that's kind of up to you, I would say, and your personality, your risk style. I just got an alert on Palantir. Palantir is getting clocked. It's down to 78. It's down 7%. The SPY almost peaked there, bouncing right back up to this trend line. The Qs are getting hit pretty hard. Anyway, coming back to how should we, like in the event that we get to this level, should you be going long? Should you be going short? First of all, let's take the bull case first. Going long there is a smart mean reverting trade. There are many mean reverting, as in returning to some average value, as in like if you're so overextended in one direction, you would expect some sort of a rubber band type effect back up. That is a strong play, and you could do it with minimal risk. I fully understand the reasoning and the thesis and wanting to do that. And I'm just trying to say it's not my cup of tea, but I'm not in any way saying it's a bad trade. It's not how I choose to engage with the market, but there are many traders out there who make a lot of money that's their style of trade. So I'm trying to be fair here of like, it's not my style, but it's also not a wrong style. People buying at serious levels of support on big movements, it's a low risk, high reward opportunity. Your accuracy is going to be low. It's going to be actually pretty low. But if you wait for this to, and then whatever that low is, and you try to like catch the falling knife, well, what's nice about it is you can keep your risk really, really small, because if you're near that low and then it goes a little lower, just cut it right away. But if you're like in that fortunate time period where you pick the bottom and can ride it all the way back up to whatever level you're looking at, like relative to the time frame, it makes sense. It is a low risk, high reward trade, but it has a low accuracy. So you're going to get stomped out like quite often. Well, we're getting this trend line test now. A little bit of an overshoot here at 5,660. So I get that play. It's not for me, but people who trade that while like that way, I personally know people who are always trading that way, and yes, they make money. So I like to trade with the overall trend. So it's hard for me to really ever justify it in my own brain in real time. It's just the psychology aspect to it isn't necessarily my favorite. I'd rather wait for pumps like this, and then ideally failures of said pumps. Like I look for shorter term pullbacks against the overall trend. We can all agree we're trending down. I like to look for shorter term reversals that then fail and go with the overall trend. Obviously, right now that would be more on the bearish side of things, but the same could be said about bullish. So right here, in this situation, I'd be looking for little pops that fail, playing it down to key levels. That's how I look at the market. That's how I like to engage with the market, but that's more of like a personal preference thing. So that's, I guess, on the bull side of like buying at major levels, which even though we're pumping a little bit right now, I still think the major level of the day is 56.50. But with that being said, obviously we're at the low from Friday, and this is exactly where we bounced, hence why it's the low. And even though I was looking at 56.50 then, it just never came, and we ended up ripping like 50, 60, 70, 80 points or whatever the fuck it was. It was crazy. So that's the argument and the sentiment to buying at these key levels. The other side of it, and I should say, this is such an important level. I could show you this right here. Right here, 5650. It is the next biggest node. And if we do bounce, real shot of going right up to 5,700. So I'm playing, not only is it the major levels in terms of price and psychology, this is where the option players are like clearly engaging with the market. You could even see it here, 5650. So I'm expecting something to happen there. Well, first of all, that's even a prediction in itself because we haven't even gotten there yet. Even though the odds of a bounce are decent, you kind of have to look at the odds versus the payout. So let's look at it like this. If there is a 50% bounce chance and a 50% vomit chance, okay, you want the payoff to be better than that 50-50 setup. But what if there's a 90% chance of a bounce, as in like it's super, super likely, but in the 10% scenario, what if that's like a 500x playoff? So you don't want to just look at the odds of the situation. You want to look at the payout if you're in that bucket, because sometimes the lower odds situation is the worthwhile bet to take because of the asymmetric return. So that's really bringing me to my next point here is in the event, okay, I think there's a good shot of support being found somewhere in here. More than a 50% chance. I don't think it's, I threw out 90 before, that was hypothetical. I think there's a more than a 50% chance that we bounce in here. I think that is statistically the favorable move today. Am I going to play that? No, because I don't want to trade trend. Am I going to try to hold my puts more? Well, maybe, because even though I'm taking the lower odds setup, the payoff is so much greater than the lower odds that if you clench that every once in a while, it makes it worth it just because of how big the payoff is relative to it being in a lower odds situation. So maybe another way I could say this with easier numbers, it's let's make it hypothetical. Let's say you have a 100-sided die and you're playing a game against me, and every single time you don't pick the number, you're going to pay me $1, and there's only one right number. So 99 out of the 100, every single time you pick the incorrect number, you pay me $1. So the odds are on any given roll that you're going to pay me $1. But would you engage in that particular game if anytime you're right, I pay you 1,000? Well, of course you would. Because your net expected value in that situation is lose $1, lose $1, lose $1. You're going to lose $99, and then you have a 1% chance of making 1,000. So you're going to be net ahead by $901. That is a positive expected move. So that's, I think, a better way of explaining that. Sometimes the lower odds situation, if the payoff is good enough, it's actually worthwhile to take it, if that makes sense. So I think especially in the world of retail trading, there's a huge focus on just trying to do the highest accuracy situation. But that's not always the best way to, like, we're in this game ideally to optimize our profit. So what you should be optimizing is your expected value. And the expected value calculation is how often are you right multiplied by your win size, and then you take away how often you're wrong multiplies by your average loss size. So I know we're getting a little bit more into the math, but I think that mental framework is good to understand, especially when we're coming to these key levels. Is the payoff likely to keep holding? No. But if it does break down, which is a lower odd situation, the payoff is so great that, yeah, especially in higher volatility levels, it might be worthwhile to take that bet on the low odds situation because the payoff is so great. So I hope that makes sense. And actually, on that note, we are pushing a little bit. I'll mark out the intraday low. MSTR had a bounce there off of MSTR loves holding above 250. Loves holding above 250. And now we're just waiting to see if we're going to puke another level. Right here, the Mag 7 calmed down a little bit. Let me go to the 30-second. Lots of call selling back here at 951. That's actually kind of what really kicked the Mag 7 down a couple notches. Actually, no, I wanted to do this. My bad. And right now, we did puke in terms of the delta up till 1021. Price took a bit of a bounce with the delta in the SPY, but it seems like we are tilting back over right now. What was that? Oh, it was puts being locked in. So there was a little bit of call buying right there, but this was more so of right here, this bounce and even this bounce. This was put players locking in their profits at the previous day's low. And so that is removing negative delta from the system. When you remove negative delta from the system, you get a bit of a pop. Obviously, that was short-lived, though, because calls in real time are still puking, which is making me feel much, much more comfortable about this called out level of 5650. So when we get to 5650, that's where I'm going to have to start to really think about how I want to manage my current positions. Namely, I have NDX puts, which are, how are they doing? They are up 72%. I'm almost 50K. I'm up 43. This is going to come as a surprise to absolutely fucking no one. But if I make 50K in this one trade, it's going to make me feel a lot better about what happened to me last week. It's going to make me feel quite a bit fucking better about how last week played out for me if I could have a 50K trade on top of the 50K I already made on futures. That's a 100K day. Well, technically it already is if I close out now. I'm up 73 grand on the day. My account's up 42%. That's disgusting. Those are the benefits you get from expanding vol, folks. The SPY was, or SPX, the S&P 500 and the SPY, right at the intraday low, and the Q's actually made a fresh intraday low. All right, I'm going to mark this up for a potential reversal, just so I know. Actually, that potential reversal might be coming sooner than I thought. What just happened there? What just happened? Not much, actually. The delta's still pretty beat the fuck up. Well, while we're waiting to see what this is or isn't, let me remind you, the best place to trade options is right on the screen right now, public. It is pinned to the top of chat, is in the description of the video. This is, if you're an option trader, this is where you should be an option trader. The reason for that is this is the only brokerage on the planet, at least that I know of, that you get paid a rebate to trade options. As in, every single time you buy or sell a call, every single time you buy or sell a put, you get an extra rebate. So if you're a profitable trader, you're a more profitable trader. If you're not a profitable trader, well, it won't be at least as painful because you're getting the rebate. To start at the higher rebate tier, use the link pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. They are the partner of today's stream. You're going to come in earning more money like right out of the gate by using that link. Obviously, I don't really understand the argument to not be using this right now, just because it's just more money. It's just more money, which is exactly why I have $250,000 with them, is because I like them that much. To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. An absolute no-brainer. An absolute no. Dude, if I held all of those NQ, the amount of money I'd be up right now, which... it's all my fault, because if I kept my other accounts, I'd be able to ride this trend, but it's all 100% my fault for breaking my rules last week for like the 10th time in the row. So on this, I don't know how successful this particular run's going to be. Obviously, no one does. Like, that's what trading is. But I really am going to try to help hold myself much more accountable, much more accountable, and just ideally just catch some good trades, but more importantly, follow my rules. And ideally, if I just keep following my rules time and time again, ideally, the market gods will reward me. So I can make no guesses. I'm going to give it my all. I've had, I don't know, a lot of time to think about it over the weekend. It's going to take a while. The last accounts, it took me all of December, all of January, all of February, and part of March. So it was like 3.5 months worth of work, all just gone in one day of breaking my rules. So this one, I'm going to... if you guys are subscribed to the new channel, that's where I update that particular series. It's in the description of the video. Chaos and Roswell, he'll drop the link to that new channel in chat. So I'm going to be doing kind of like a series of these whole new accounts and what happens and what doesn't happen, and kind of give you guys an insight to the trading strategies, to my mentality, how I'm attacking it. And I'll even be able to cover things like I did today, where I'm like, oh, okay, like at the start of the account, like I could more concisely explain why you want to change your trading strategy at certain points of account size. And here we go. It's coming. Go. We're almost at that 50K mark. 48.3, 47.7. Come on. Bring us home. Tesla's getting hit pretty fucking bad, actually. Go. Come on. How close did it get? It got to 52.9. So basically 53. We almost got there. You're shorting? Of course I'm shorting. Why would you not be short right now? I actually, as an active trader, I'm not talking about long-term investing, but as an active trader, why? It'd be crazy to be going long right now. I get it. I get that a lot of people have been telling you to buy this dip, but guess what? They've been wrong this entire fucking time. I made the video yesterday explaining where I truly think this bounces. I don't think our market bounces until late March, early April. I think that's going to be the true low in the market, and then we go from there. I think there's a bit more pain to be had, but I don't see the options market really relaxing whatsoever until we really good. I mean, we need more stuff to decay. Here we go. Come on, give us that little puke so we can say we hit my major target. Called out this level, called out this level. All these levels were on the screen, given away to you guys for free before the market even opened. We talked about them. We broke them down. Not only did I explain how to trade it, not only did I explain what the trade of the day was, I executed upon it in front of all of you. Every single one of you knew exactly what I was. You could have taken the trade better than me because I told you I think it's still going to be trend following. I just had to get out for any of the reversals. Once again, that just relates to some of their like consistency rules and whatnot. Come on. Dude, maybe I should have just like had a sack of balls and just like ridden this because I would have already hit what I needed. I would have maxed it, which would have been 3K. I could have had a nice, not worth the risk though. It's that type of talk that got me into trouble last time. Come on, just hit this. It's going to be, at this point, it's just toying with us. It's kind of embarrassing to not hit this level. The real question is it going to be the low statistical likelihood of a breakdown and a vomit? Or is it going to be the high statistical likelihood of we bounce right there and just like end the day somewhere up here in this like garbage? What's it going to be? Low odds, but fun. The low odds fun scenario is a break of 5650 and a vomit of an additional 50 points all the way down to 5,600, which would be another $5 in the SPY, bringing us to about 559. Not the highest odds play, but it is it's a pathway that is reasonable today. Once again, it is much higher odds that we bounce off of it, as we've been explaining this entire time. But in the event that we do break down, the asymmetric return from it is like, it's huge. Don't hang on to calls. VIX is pushing to 27. Dude, if you see it go 27, it gets exciting. If we start pushing 28, 29, could get wild. Tomorrow could be super green. It also could be super red. It could also be nothing. It also could be a little green. It also could be a little red. Those are the ways this could play out. Those definitely are. All right. We got close, but we actually didn't hit it. And I wonder, let's look at the options market. Let's see what's going on. The Mag 7 is still looking weak. There are some puts being closed out, but overall the trend is weak. This is seemingly, as of right now, a little bit of a reversion. But what do we have going on? Starting at 1037, puts were monetized and calls were purchased. So your negative delta is being removed and positive delta is being added, which has like the 2x impact on pushing delta higher. So that all started at 1037, which is, I assume, exactly when this happened. Yep. 1037. People monetize their puts and they bought calls. Is it the biggest one? No. I mean, it's a little bit of a breather and maybe it leads to something larger. But as of right now, we're still just lower highs and lower lows. What are the levels you're seeing on BTC? That's a good question. I thought I had them already marked out. I was looking at this last night. 78,000 is the low from Friday, February the 28th. So look for the snap of that. There is some support at 76. And really, I'd be watching closer to something. I mean, the low 70s have a lot because resistance. So if 78 doesn't hold, my next level would be somewhere like, call it 72.5, but it's somewhere in the lower 70s. Also, would I be buying that? No, I wouldn't. I think, once again, not only for Bitcoin, but for the overall market, I think the dip buy comes in late March, early April, and then I think we have a solid month of bullishness. So like if it dips, I'm not going to be buying it here because I'm still expecting pain for about another week or two. So, okay, if it dips, yeah, you're feeling good, but what if it dips more? Like, what if I can get it at 60? I mean, those are the levels I'd be watching right now, especially if you're playing this to the downside and maybe you have like the perp contracts or something like that. But for me, which I am a long-term investor in Bitcoin, I don't actively trade it. There's not enough time in the day to actively trade all the things I want to actively trade. So, I mean, I just want to let you know I'm not adding there. If I add, which I probably will, it's going to be late March, early April. But I don't believe that 78,000 will hold. I think there is a high odds chance of us coming down to the low 70s, which I am playing that, but I'm playing it via MSTR right here, which those are up a nice 190 percent, up a nice 15 grand on that. Look at that, 72K. What a day. What a day. It makes the sting of last week a little bit less shitty. I'm going to be honest. It really does. It really does. And I'm still feeling pretty confident about 5650 right here. I want to see it tagged. And what I'm going to immediately do is watch the options from there to get the idea of, oh, do we bounce or break? I need to see, are people, there's better odds of us breaking and puking if people don't monetize their puts. So if the bears are still aggressive and like they just continue to ride their puts down, there's a good odds that we just keep going. So I'll be watching that closely. And the reason I need to watch it over here, also I'll be looking at the Mag 7, but it's because my current biggest position is this NDX up about 73%. Obviously, it was a costly bet. It was a $60,000 bet. Funny story about this bet is, okay, you guys know that I had a really rough week last week. So I was like, okay, cool. What you got to do is calm down, size it down. And when I was still frazzled Thursday and Friday and like just trying to sort out my thoughts and be reasonable, I thought I went into the weekend, I shit you not, with a position that was a tenth of the size. I thought this was a 6.3K bet. I didn't realize this was a $63,000 bet. I was off by a decimal. Going into the weekend, I was like, cool, I have some MSTR exposure. I have some NASDAQ exposure. It's below 15 grand. Like that's a size with based on my account that I'm like willing to like run. And then Friday night, when I was talking to some friends, I was at a bar and I was like explaining how bad my week was. I went to go show them my position. They're traders. So they're like, yo, what did you carry into the weekend? I was like, oh, I have about $10,000 to $15,000 on puts. It's good for my sizing and like my capital requirements. So I showed it to them and they're like, you know that this is a $60,000 position. I literally was off by a decimal on that one. This was supposed to be a tenth of the size, which means I should be up 5K, but I guess it works. I guess that's the dangers of playing NDX. Speaking of that, I do have some other positions as well. So regardless, when I saw that things were kind of getting rough, I was more than happy when I saw that Bitcoin was cracking on Sunday. I was more than happy when I saw some of the tariff news and I was like, dude, finally, like after having such a bad break, I had such a lucky break. So I guess that's how the market works. Some of your worst losses are followed immediately by your best gains. It's odd how much, has anyone else ever noticed that extremes commonly follow extremes, as in like some of your best days are followed by some of your worst days, or vice versa. Some of your worst days are then followed by some of your best days. It is interesting. I wondered why you were so calm about NDX on Friday. I thought it was a tenth of the size, and also I was very confident in my reading of the options chain. I think there's like too many people get caught up and they just see a little bit of green, they see a little bit of red, and they think that like it has to keep going. And it doesn't. Discord sync not working. Any suggestions? The database updates at the start of every new hour. So if you just try to sync it, give it another 15 minutes and you'll be good to go. Just it updates at the start of every new hour. So if you synced it, make sure you're putting in your proper locals email and make sure you are syncing to your proper Discord. If you do those two things at the start of every hour, it's when it processes all the new people. So you should be good in about 15 minutes. And speaking of that, like I said, if you guys want these trades, 50K, dingity. Dude, should I just take that? It's kind of crazy to say no to 50K. Though, like after just getting your fucking ass handed to you the previous week, I just made more than what I used to make in an entire year. That's what's crazy about these numbers. Is like this right here is more money than I used to make in an entire year. Working 12 months, 40 hours a week, working 2,000 hours in an entire year. In, I guess, swinging the position from Friday to today. Like, how fucking gnarly is that? All right, we tagged it. Now, this is where the fun begins. This is where you find out who knows how to trade and who doesn't. This is where we have to be very, very mindful of our profit takers taking their profit. Bitcoin's looking a bit weak. This is the time right here. It might not seem like anything special on SPY, but it is everything. Everyone is watching this right here. If it does not hold, quick puke, a quick $50 puke. Are the odds of it high? No, they are not. But if it does break, that, like I said, it's asymmetric. It is asymmetric. We are right at it. Is it going to be support? Is it going to be support? We got to watch closely. Let's put up the 5 seconds so we can see. If the delta can just keep dropping, I think we're going to be good. The spot gam implied one-day move low is 5646, so a couple points below where we are right now. They base theirs off of like a proprietary volatility measurement, and it's pretty darn good most days. So watch a slight overshoot here. Watch a slight overshoot. Want to know something really crazy about? Okay, so last week, unfortunately, I had to be transparent, and I told you guys that I blew all that out. And then I really didn't do anything on Friday because I was in like such shock. Then the first day back, 50 grand locked in on the futures market. Obviously, how much are this is up? This is up 72 grand and climbing. And then how much are I have some SPX puts, which are up at this point 13.5. So that's 72 plus 50, that's 125, so like 140-ish right now. 140-ish. Oh, but are we getting that bounce? Let's see. Let's monitor. We have a little bit of a bounce in the Mag 7 Delta. Once again, the combo of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. A little bit of a bounce right here. It's quickly getting faded. I see prices going up, but it's getting smacked a little bit in the Delta. And then what's interesting about the spot up, no, it did get a bit of a pop. What is it? Okay, it's kind of what we expected to see. Not actually, I didn't expect this many. It's more calls being purchased than puts. Puts are still holding strong on this, which I find to be interesting. I thought it would be more of the blue bars popping up and puts being closed and closed and closed. The bears are still being very, very aggressive. Yes, some people, probably smartly so, locked in some of their money. I mean, you can't blame them on that one. But we've been seeing some decent call purchasing ever since 1037. So for about the past 12 minutes, I guess I just didn't anticipate seeing it like this. I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought calls would be flat. I thought the puts would pump first. And then if enough puts closed, I thought the calls were going to follow. But right now what we're seeing is calls are trending up, as in people are going long calls. But these put buyers are still fucking aggressive. Look at that. These put buyers are not, wow. The put buyers are not throwing in the towel. They're trying to fucking knock this down. This is getting interesting. You guys might want to get out some popcorn because this is becoming a battle. The bulls are stepping in, but the bears are not relenting. What the fuck? What a crazy, crazy time. And it's all reacting to 5650. All reacting to 5650. How's the net delta looking? Okay, so technically, ever since the low at 1036, the bulls have been winning a bit more. We haven't made a fresh low on delta, but also the fat lady ain't singing yet, so the game's not necessarily over. The fat lady ain't singing. What a time to be alive. All right, I'm just going to set an alert on this recent high to see if, I don't know, just so we know if it is pumping a little bit. Tesla taking a bit of a breather. MSTR had a breather, now getting a little bit of weakness. The VIX, what is its actual high value? I'm surprised the VIX isn't sitting above 27. If it does quickly pop out of nowhere, I think we vomit. But the VIX movement is kind of stalled out as we just got to this indecisive level. Hang on. I'm seeing a bit of weakness. What's actually happening? Delta's dropping a little bit. What is it? More puts. People are, wow, fucking dude, the bears are mean today. Every single time there's a little bit of a bounce, someone is just smashing 0 DTE puts. Every single time there's a bit of a bounce, like literally for today's expiration, someone is just fucking pounding the shit out of 0 DTE puts. Holy fuck, Tonto. That is crazy. What the fuck? They're so mean. So aggressive. 76K and counting. 53. What's crazy is I could take this, but if it does snap, if we snap 5,650 and we get the push to like the next level, I think that's going to hit 5,600 flat. That could be like 100K trade. Wow. Matt, how come sometimes the VIX isn't on the opposite of the SPY some days? Because they're not perfectly inversely correlated. They have an inverse relationship, but you have to think the SPY is a SPY, and then the VIX is just the volatility of the SPY. So you can actually have them go in the same way. Volatility could theoretically expand as you're going up. It's just rare. Like their relationship is mostly inverse, but it's not like it's a structured product that's made to be inverse. It's just the VIX is the volatility of the S&P 500, and it just so happens that volatility commonly expands when price is getting hit. Hang on. I need to check one other thing. I have another 16K up over here, so there's a little bit of sprinkles on top on this particular play, my smaller account. But my main focus is obviously this on whatever the fuck's going on over here. I don't think that's loading up properly, is it? I guess it is. I thought with oh, there we go. VIX just popped. We're at 45. All right, that's going. All right, I'm setting up an alert just in case there is some sort of reversal here. MSTR is getting clocked. Calm, cool, collected. Oh, dude, that is puking. Wow. Wow. All right, is it time to lock in money, or is it time to start taking screenshots and bragging to my friends? I feel like that's such a good sign to know that maybe you should be locking in your gains. It's like taking your screenshots when you're up and then not doing anything about it and then letting them disappear. Probably a telltale sign. Yeah, this is just getting fucking cracked. Well, if this doesn't quickly recover from here, I know it's painful to say, I think we're going all the way down to here. Oh, that's it. I'll double check just to make sure that these are the levels. Let me do a quick sanity check. Hang on. I just got an alert. Microsoft's breaking down. All right, let's do a sanity check. Let's check out what levels are reasonable because obviously things shift throughout the day. Let's reload this. This is calling for 5630. That's the delta pressure. As of now, that does commonly update. Open interest, we broke that node. The next node is 5600. In terms of the open interest change, we broke that node. Next one, 5600. Below that, 5550. Jesus, imagine if that happens today. All right, so the volume from yesterday to from market close on Friday to right now, we have this node at 5650. Maybe a little bit here. There might be a bit of a break at 5620, but the obvious one that jumps out is 5600. What we should do is look at it for the last 15 minutes. All right, in the last 15 minutes, people have been playing the 5650s and the 5600s. Okay, so I'm going through my process to make sure that this is still like an actual viable level today. Thus far, it seems to be. We have net selling of premium on the day. 5,600. Wow. Okay, so people are long to the 5,600. Holy shit. They're long to the 5,600 and they're shorting the 5550s. And that's from market close to right now. Let's look at it in the past 15 minutes. In the past 15 minutes, not much trading has been going on, but I'm still seeing like nodes at 5,600. So yeah, okay. We did a sanity check. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like reaching and there wasn't like a surprise new level or player that I missed. But as of, what time is it? As of 11 a.m., maybe a bit of a hiccup at 5620. Kind of hesitant to say that because the real level people are playing is 5,600. That's the real level. So this might get fucking goosey. I feel like this isn't updating. 63 grand and counting. That is fucking disgusting. A 77,000 turnaround today. So obviously it's the unrealized that matters, but I was red when the market closed. 77 grand in one day from market closed on Friday to now. That's fucking wild. Wild. VIX is still strong. Let's mark out a new high on the VIX. Oh, now we're just sitting. The longer it stays below 5650, the greater the odds of a puke all the way down to here. All right, I guess I'll set an alert at 5620 just so we know. Feels like that might be important at some point today. Feels like that could very well be an important level. We're here. Folks, when you have big trends like this and you're on the right side of the trend, I deeply believe that there's various things you could do to set yourself up for success. And one of those is just being calm and like not overreacting, not, I suppose getting like, I don't know. You don't want to just see all that green on your chart and say, yeah, I need to take it. Because remember, you need those wins to pay off your losses. If you're always taking your wins too early, it's not going to be enough to outweigh your losses. So when you have this, you just have to wait. Ride the trend as soon as it's there. So that's what I continually do. When I'm in a nice trend like this, I like to just pay attention and say, okay, like, are we actually reverting? Are we not reverting? If I think that there's legitimate signs of a reversal, that I just lock in my gains and I move on to the next trade. But if I'm not seeing the strongest signs, man, these call buyers are still in there. Ever since I thought in this flush that the calls would actually puke, but they didn't puke. The calls are holding constant now, but there's a clear uptrend. The 0DT calls, they're not buying a lot, but they're definitely not selling. They're not admitting they're wrong. Well, right here, this little pop we're getting, you could see is puts being closed out. A little bit of puts being closed out. And we're coming right back up to this test. Okay, they don't want this 5650 to break down, I guess, now. Where do we get to? We got to 39. All right, we're seeing some aggression come in. What is it? Let's play the game of what in the world is going on. More call buying. More call buying on that pop. Is it going to hold, though? Is it going to hold? Remember, we are in that negative gamma environment. So whichever way we get going, it can really get going. If this is going to have a nice reversal, this is kind of the time to do it. The start of a new hour, the put buyers are less aggressive. The call buyers are coming in a bit more aggressive. Like, if people were looking for a bottom, we're at a key level. It's the start of a new hour. A lot of people like to predict an 11 a.m. reversal. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. That one's above my pay grade. But there are, this kind of feels like the moment. Like if on an intraday basis, if they don't want the hemorrhaging to be so incredibly bad, it feels like this is kind of the moment for them to fight. With that being said, if you're a mean reverting trader, it's a pretty easy setup. You go long here and your risk is this recent low. You have tons of upside potential. You have well-defined risk. It's not my trade. It's not the trade I'd be taking. But if you're more of a person who likes to catch a falling knife and be like just a mean reverting trader, that's it. This recapture, you broke the trend line. You have well-defined risk. In the short term, right here, 0 DT call buyers are coming in. Right there. I don't know how it turns out for them, but all this aggressive call buying is getting some puts to close. The longer duration puts are holding steady, but 0 DT puts, those people are hitting the cash register. They're locking it in. But right now, 1, 2, for the past 2.5 minutes, pretty much starting at 11 a.m., some bot went crazy and started buying 0 DTE calls. Is it going to be enough, though? That's the golden question. Loaded them calls on the low. Be careful. In these types of environments, unless you really know what you're doing with calls, it's really difficult because if you're right and the market pops and reverses here, vol is going to fall. So if the VIX falls, which is what's going to happen if the market goes up, you're going to be losing extrinsic value from your calls. So if you do it, you might want to consider selling puts. You might want to consider call debit spreads. And if you're like, no, I just want to be calls, you probably don't want to go that far out of the money. You probably want to buy something very close to at the money so you're gaining intrinsic value because you're going to be losing extrinsic value due to the drop in Vega. Maybe you'll gain some delta, but theta is always working against you. But you're probably going to lose gamma and you're probably going to lose Vega, most likely, and you're always going to be losing from theta. So those will all have a negative impact on your the extrinsic value side of the equation. So you're going to want to focus more on the intrinsic value. Another roundabout way to say it is you're going to get vol crushed. And vol crush, if you haven't been crushed by vol before, it happens to every single trader. We all have that first time where we are on the right side of being a bull and we lost money anyway. And most of the time, that scenario, you're like, how could I possibly move money? I bought calls, the market went up. Why did I not make money? How is that possible? And the answer is because of vol crush. You lose so much of your extrinsic value that it does not unfortunately, the loss of extrinsic value outpaces what you're gaining in the price movement in your favor, i.e. delta, potentially your intrinsic value. So what you would want to do is basically in these environments, you don't want to play puts and calls as aggressively on each other. They're not mirror images of each other in the sense of volatility. Basically, if you're going to play long premium, long calls, long puts, you can be more aggressive on puts than you can be on calls. Because if you're right in terms of a bearish trend, you're also going to be doubly right because volatility is going to expand in your favor. That doesn't happen with calls. If you're quote unquote right on calls, you're inherently wrong because vol's also going to get crushed. So you can still make money with calls. I don't want anyone to take away like you can. You just have to play them differently. You should never be playing calls and puts the exact same. It's rare to do that. Vol crush can get you even when you make the right call on direction. Yeah, without a doubt. We've all been there. Like if the longer you trade, it's just a matter of time before it happens to you. And actually, vol expansion can actually make you money even if you're on the wrong side of the trade. I've bid in calls before. And because of the strike and what was going on, even though I got the direction wrong, vol expanded so much so rapidly that my premium was actually positive. I had calls and I made money, even though it dropped because the vol picked up that much. Matt, do you ever play Turnaround Tuesday in a scenario like this? Not like this. I do play Turnaround Tuesday, but there's other metrics that I use when deciding if I want to play it, and this is not one of them. But also that might change by the end of the day because there's a lot of trading. So it really, for me, it comes down to like, I need to see the option structure. I need to see the current foundation. But I am getting a little bit worried for the bulls because this seemed like the real chance for them to get going. And granted, we're still above 56.50, so you might get this bounce right here. But there wasn't as much enthusiasm through this follow-up as I thought there would be. We're not done yet. I mean, easily it could just give it a little kiss, a little tap, and explode right back up. That's 100% possible. But some of my concern is the fact that the Mag 7 is still very weak. So the big guys in the market, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, the delta reading's almost at the low of the day. And then if I look at the SPY, it went flat. So obviously for this to pick up and keep going, you'd want to see a continuation. You'd want to see this follow through in the delta. What do we actually have going on right here? To zoom in a little bit, here's where we're at. So basically at the turn of the hour, someone bought a bunch of calls, then they stopped buying calls. They almost started selling them back. And now recently the faucet got turned on again and someone's buying calls over the past minute or so, but puts have stopped. So puts were being purchased, and then right around 10:57, right around 11 a.m., people riding those puts locked them in, and now they've just been flat ever since. So this follow through right here, if you're trying to play this bounce, that's not, I can't say this definitively. There's a high odds chance that only happens if you see this trend continue. What we saw from 10:59 to 11, you would want to see that overall trend continue of people purchasing calls and locking in their gains on their puts. If this call purchasing stops, because then the recent call buyers, they're going to get just crushed by theta, so they're going to sell and that's going to drop it. And then it could get really bad if people start buying puts again. But we saw some excitement at the turn of the hour, and since then we've kind of gone flat. It's trying to hold above 56.50. Indecisive, I would say. As of now, we just kind of have to wait and watch and see how they actually want to do it. The Mag 7 got a tiny bit of a pop. More of the pop is specifically on the S&P 500, which I actually do find concerning. I'd feel much more comfortable about an intraday reversal if we saw it across the entire board, not just bets on the SPY. I would want to see that happening on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ got a little bit of a pop, but it's not even existent on the Mag 7, at least as of now. So if there was widespread aggression, I'd say, okay, that's the bottom, time to lock in the gains. But we're just not seeing that much confidence from the bear side. Or from the bull side, we're seeing more confidence in the bear side. All right, we haven't taken out these highs. Yeah, we're just kind of waiting. We got this pump. That was all that call buying. Then we got stalled out. So basically, now the game is watch this range. Do we break and push 56.60, or do we get smashed and not hold 56.50 and then puke from there? I have no crystal ball. All I can tell you is the level-to-level analysis. And from a level-to-level analysis, the next stop is 566.6. I don't know. I think there's another 6 in there. And then if that pushes, we're talking 5,700. That's the bull case scenario. The bear case scenario is it gets rejected here or at 566, and then it doesn't hold 5650. We puke, we take out the intraday low, and we go all the way down to 5,600. Those are the two situations. And like I said, rewind the stream. I thought there was a higher chance than not that we do bounce, but then in the event that we do break down, that would be a better payoff. So sometimes it is worthwhile to be betting on the less likely situation if the payoff is good enough, which is a giant if, but we'll see. We'll see. So the SPY getting close to the low value. Oh, indecisive. We got to that point in the day. Vol got hit pretty hard at the start of the hour. Well, really starting at 10:58. It just got crushed for about the past 5 minutes or so. It's picking up a little bit, but VIX really got hit there. Which, might mean that the party's over. It's a tough read. It's a tough read right now, especially because even if it does pop, there is resistance really close overhead at 5,666. So you just have to wait all day. Be patient. Let the trade come from you. Don't chase the breakouts. Don't chase the breakdowns. Wait for market structure shifts. Wait for the options to align with whatever in the world you're attempting to do. and just have patience. Remember, we're getting into the midday chop session. Remember, the good moves are at the start of the day and the end of the day. Pretty much the first hour and the last hour, the first hour and a half, the last hour and a half. All the good moves that are exciting to take advantage of, they come at the start, they come at the end. So don't feel that extra pressure midday. Be like, it's just such a good way to get like chopped up. So please avoid that. Please avoid that. All right. Before I let you guys go, I do want to give you a last look at the options. Mag 7 has gone flat ever since the turn of the hour. And then looking at the SPY, we popped at the turn of the hour. Now we're going flat. A little bit of a drift to the upside. But if the delta comes below this 1106 low, I do think that means that 5650 is getting cracked. So that's your final look. Obviously, I'm going to go hang out with everyone in the Discord. If you want to go to the Discord, my mod will drop it in chat. It's in the description of the video. I want to be clear. So the Discord, your first month is free. You get full access to everything, like my trades, the Piper signal, which I actually didn't put in there today. That's embarrassing. All the previous lectures and really access to the full community. Your first month is free. I put my money where my mouth is. And the reason I do that is because I think you're going to get in there and realize we're doing really cool things, and you're going to want to stay and you're going to love what's going on. That's my personal, I guess, opinion of how I see this playing out. Dude, 91K? That's fucking disgusting. Anyway, if you use this promo code Goonie, you get full access to everything for free for a month to kind of test drive it and see if it is for you or not. So I'm going to go and hang out with those guys in the Discord. We will be posting an update video this evening when the market closes. Obviously in those update videos, I'm going to break down whatever happens for this entire day. I'll also give you an idea of like how the option structure updates, so we know those levels for tomorrow. And then obviously in tomorrow's show, as we do in pre-market every single day, we're going to be laying out those key levels to know what our bull and our bear cases are and how to play those accordingly with ideally low risk, high reward opportunities. And then obviously a specialty shout out to Public, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. If you're an option trader, which I assume you are, if you're watching this show, highly recommend you checking out Public, because it's the only brokerage that gives you a rebate to trade options. So no matter where you are, you're going to be better off mathematically. That's just how math works. You're going to be better off on something like Public. So show them a little bit of love, free to download, free to sign up, and you're going to start off at a higher rebate tier by using what's pinned to the top of chat and in the description of the video. That's what I have for you. This is not only the first day of the week, it is the first day back on the horse, the saddle, getting back on the saddle after I had a pretty brutal week last week. So obviously, first day back, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm pretty stoked about how all this is going right now. Who knows? It might blow up in my face later today, or it might get even better. So I'll make sure to post screenshots and whatnot of how it all goes. I should clarify, like I said earlier, I'm trying to be more of that like super disciplined. So what happened in those futures markets, I'm done. Like I'm telling you this, whatever you guys saw today, I made 2K on 25 accounts. I made 50K there. I'm done. I'm done trading on that. We'll return to that ideally tomorrow. So done there. The only thing that I really have to manage at this point is what in the world is going to be happening with my options play. So I'm going to be checking that out, but I do appreciate the vibes. Thank you so much. Once again, I just want to say thank you to all you guys for the words of encouragement after a very rough week that I had. So thank you for everyone who reached out, the words of wisdom, the advice, just the well wishes. Thank you. I hope today alone, I gave enough of a, what, I just got some weird ding. I guess something's moving. I'll see you in the Discord. But that's what I have for you. Best of luck. Respect your risk. Stick to your trading plan. Don't get caught up in midday chop. And I will catch you later. But thank you. Peace.